Woo, it's a little bit chilly in the studio today, but I am going to try something with one of my stained glass patterns. What I did is I took a piece of bullseye paper and I ran this through the printer. Um, and of course I ran it on the wrong side first, so see the little bullseyes there? That's the back side. So I had to run it through again. But what I'm going to try to do is use my coarse frit and make this pattern with the frit. And of course my green, I only have medium, so hopefully we don't get too many bubbles out of that. And see if I can get, like, do you guys remember those Christmas ornaments that were made of plastic and they had like a rough texture on top? I'm going to see if I can do something like that, but I'm also going to cut this out like I would for stained glass and put it together in a circle and full fuse it. I might tack fuse it when I do this one because I think it's going to have to be a tack fuse or a contour fuse. But we're going to give it a try. We're all about experimenting today. I think the tricky part is going to be keeping the frit deep enough to fill in and not shrink up too much. Part of me is tempted to cut a circle of clear and put it in here. This is actually just a terracotta water catcher for your plants, and I treated it with my Primo primer, but maybe I will do that. Maybe I'm gonna cut a circle for the bottom. And of course it's freezing cold here in the studio. I had the heaters on low, and we got down to like 17 degrees last night, so low didn't do too good. Got them cranked up now, but I have a funny feeling my glass is going to be pretty darn chilly for cutting. But let me see if I can cut a circle real quick. Let me gather that. Okay, I got a piece of Tecta here, and I don't feel like measuring this circle per se, so I'm just going to kind of gauge what it should be. Whoops. Kind of mark the center of my circle. And then we'll just tighten this down here. Am I going the right way? No. There we go. I don't know about you guys, but I always get a little bit confused on reading where this should go. My guess is yeah, 6.5 inch. So let's pray the glass is not too cold for a circle. Get some of my stuff out of the way here so I can turn the circle. I think my tripod's going to be in the way. Yeah. Let's see if I can move over a little and still be in frame. Let's see. And of course, like I said, the glass is really cold. Everything in here is really cold. Come up a little bit here. Alright, that should work. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on this piece of paper towel. Even the oil doesn't want to come out. Give myself a little lubrication here. And I'm sure you can hear that wind too. We've got high wind warnings all morning. I think it's supposed to be over about 1 o'clock, but come on, little booger. Just want to get some oil down so I can have every advantage possible with this super cold glass. Okay. And of course, it's a giant piece, so we're going to need to trim it down a little bit. I am having some serious tight quarters here. I really need to organize my studio so I'm not in such a crowded state. So and I'm just going to put my little button down, and the leg of this tripod still in the way. Alrighty. We got the straight line cut. Move my button. Take a look here. Yeah. Now, today I don't think my thumbs are going to let me do it this way. So we will look for, I guess we'll use this. Get our run started. I don't like that one so much for running a line, but I can't seem to find the black one. Where did that go? Ooh, this place is a mess. Mess, mess, mess. Since we're in the holiday spirit, you can go messy, messy, messy. You know, if you're old enough, you know what I'm referring to. Where is... Oh, I know where it is. Just a second. I was working on cleaning up an old window for a commission, and I ended up having to cut out some of the glass. So it was on a different table. I don't normally like to do this way because it doesn't always run nicely. Sometimes you get those little edges, but since it's cold, I'm going to give myself that advantage. Let's get this little piece over here off. do some relief lines. See if I can see where I'm going here. Hopefully we made it small enough. Everybody should be able to break off now. There we go. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be with the really cold glass. So that's cool. This way, when I put my frit in, I don't have to stack it as high. Alright, it's a little bit small, but it'll be okay. Alright, we got about 1/4 of an inch gap, but that's cool. So, the next thing is to add glue or not add glue. And what I think I'm going to do is maybe use my gigantic aloe vera and my little paintbrush. And I'm going to just put this in the J. Just to add a little bit of stickiness. I might not have to do it to everything, but the J and the Y are going to be red. And since they cover top to bottom, I'm hoping that by putting a little bit of stickiness here, they'll end up being like a little stopgap if I put this in first. And then I can add my other colors and see if I need. This one's medium, so I'm going to use the coarse. And I know that I'm going to end up having to brush it into place. So I'm just going to put some down and then clean it up. And we'll go over where the glass doesn't meet the wall. So let's see. And of course, since I have aloe vera on this, some of it's going to stick. This is garnet red. I just love how dark that is. It's a nice deep red. One of my favorites. Get this over here in the J. Get it kind of filled in there. I hope this kind of works out because I do have some stained glass patterns that I think would be fun to do infused. glass. And I mean, I know I can just cut it out, which is what I'll do next. And then fit it back together and fuse it. Kind of like you would do for stained glass, but of course you'd be soldering that. Just trying to get my edges as straight as I can. Kind of tricky to do with Frit sometimes. But I want it filled in. And the Y. Why? Because we like you. Now I'm doing Mickey Mouse. I'm noticing I need to restock some of my Frit. Getting low on some. Has anybody tried to do something like this? I don't know if this is a brain cloud by me or if somebody else has tried to do it, and I'd love to know what the results for them were, or for you if you did it. A little tedious. And of course, having that paper underneath should make it fairly easy to release. We've got the Primo primer. If I was smart, and hopefully I'm not being stupid, but if I was smart, I would have put a band of thin fire around this. And I'm tempted to do it before I get too far in mixing colors together. But the Primo should let things go. Knock on wood. I've never had the Primo really stick bad. So let me think about this for just a second. Should I do a strip of thin fire? Let's pause for the cause and let me think on it a second. Alright, so I decided I would err on the side of caution, and I was trying to get my little strip to go in around this bowl, or this base, and I was hoping I could do it and get the Frit that was there to hold it in place. But as you can see, it's not really wanting to cooperate. So I am going to pause you again for a moment and get this to cooperate, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, it's not perfect, but I think because the edges flare out a little bit, it's not wanting to lay perfectly flat, which is fine. We will figure out how to work with it. So I'm going to put my Y back in there. I had to take some of the Frit out So we will add some back in. And that may or may not have been an important step. It's, I could have just let it go and used the Primo primer to have a release agent. And then spots, as you can see, it just went under the paper there. So I hope I don't end up with a problem. But that's why we're all experimenting here. That does not want to lay flat at all. Okay, so I will show you the stained glass version. On this version, I used a clear iridized ripple in the middle. And on this one, I'm going to use the white as the O. And then I'll do green in the white area. And then I have an amber for the edge. So let's go ahead and get our white. And hopefully I have enough of this to make my O. And this is just warm white. If I was smart, I stuck it on a turntable, which I may still do because I have one right over there if I can reach it. Okay, white, and then the next ring is going to be the green, which is the adventuring green. And sadly, I only have that in medium, so I hope I don't get a lot of bubbles. Let me see if I can reach this turntable. Okay, we are back with the turntable. Hopefully this will make life a little easier. Now the adventuring green, as I said, is medium. Because I don't have this in coarse. And I'm hoping to not get bubbles from that. Or too many bubbles. I want to have enough there. And not have to pick so much out of the other colors. Because boy, this is kind of tedious. Maybe the other method of cutting it out as it is stained glass and just fusing it together will be easier. I'm actually pretty sure it will be. But I really kind of wanted to recreate like that little Christmas ornament. I don't know if there's enough people out here to remember them, but they were like pressed plastic. And they had these little flakes sticking up, very textured. Good old nostalgia. And of course, there's that stupid little band that's not laying flat in my way. That's a very teeny tiny spot. So certainly not going to have sharp lines. We will definitely have some blending into each other. That's okay, because that was the funny thing about the plastic things too, is you would have like random colors that flew when the machine pressed. Gonna try and do this a little bit neater here, but I'm a little leaned over into this too to stay in camera frame. So it's not the most ergonomically correct position for me. That's okay. These are some pathetic tweezers, I tell you. They don't like to pick up. They came with the dried flowers that I had ordered to help you to pick up the flowers. So they're kind of dull, and to not damage the flowers. But it makes it tricky for anything else, and that just went under that piece of glass. So I'll pull this in, and I know this is really boring for you guys. So we might fast forward it so you don't have to watch it all. Now we have the transparent course, amber. I know it looks like the red, but when it's fired, it won't. The red is going to get very red. But for right now, it's kind of tricky to tell the red from the amber, that's for sure. And I don't know, I'm sort of tempted to try and put some clear on top too, but since we got that 3mm on the bottom, we ought to be okay. Now I know it doesn't look like much now because you've lost the J, but we will fire this and see what we get. I don't know if it'll fit in my baby kiln or if I have to wait until I cut out the other pieces. Okay, let's see how they look. This one had some paper issues, but I think it was a little, that should have been tack fused for what I was going for, but it's kind of cool. We'll have to take it out and see if it cleans up nice. The edges look like they're going to need grinding. Alright, one that was the Frit. I did have to grind the edges because there was lots of pokies. So I think next time I would have to get a little bit better with the thin fire around the edges inside, or find something that's straight up and down that I could use. Kind of good, but I think it fired more than I wanted it to. Tack fuse next time and definitely add some more Frit. I don't think I made it thick enough, but it's cute and it's an idea. This one, it came out good, even though the bottom was a little bit smaller. I kind of like how it pulled the edges down. I did notice when I was washing it though, that the very edges, let's see if we can focus, there we go. The very edges of this probably need a little bit of grinding or a diamond hand pad, something like that, just to smooth them up a little bit because they're a little rough from the Frit powder, I think. I tried to clean up around the bottom of the plate with the Frit powder, and I'm sure I didn't get it all. But I do like the dichroic sparkle to it. Of course, I just love those dichroic flakes anyway. So, 2 experiments done. I hope you enjoyed them, and I didn't rattle on too much. So, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.